You are not far from your good. You are not locked out of your destiny. The delay you feel, the ache of unfulfilled desire, the silence of heaven, none of these are punishments. They are invitations, invitations to speak, because what you want is not being withheld. It is being held for the moment you remember who you are and say the word. One sentence. One sentence spoken with rhythm, with certainty, with divine alignment can collapse the gap between what you long for and what you live in. It is not effort that manifests your good. It is not striving. It is not waiting. It is the word. Most people bury their desires in doubt. They silence their longing with logic. They postpone their inheritance because they do not know how to declare it. They speak of what they want, but they do not speak to it. They do not call it forth. They do not give it shape. And so the desire, pure and holy as it is, remains in the realm of the unseen. It hovers. It lingers. It waits for a sentence strong enough to give it form. Desire is not weakness. Desire is divine instruction. It is a telegram from the infinite. It is God speaking through the soul, saying, "This is what I have for you. Now say yes." Not with passivity, not with apology, but with a holy sentence, a sentence that commands without fear, that governs without force, that calls reality into order by divine law. Let me be very clear. You do not need to beg for what is already yours. You do not need to climb mountains or pass tests to receive what God has already prepared. You need only to speak it, and not just speak it, but speak it as law. Speak it with the full spiritual backing of heaven. Speak it with the certainty that spirit responds not to emotion, not to timelines, but to alignment. You are one sentence away. One sentence from watching the clouds part. One sentence from seeing your demonstration appear. One sentence from stepping into the reality you've held in your heart for so long. One sentence from watching desire become substance. And I will give you that sentence, but not as a formula, not as a chant. I give it to you as a spiritual instrument, a weapon of truth, a key that fits the lock on your next reality. You will speak it not to test God, but to release the truth that has always been waiting within you. Because when the sentence is aligned, when the voice is clear, when the vibration is true, desire becomes form, and reality must obey. And so it begins. Desire is not temptation. Desire is not distraction. Desire is not selfishness. Desire is divine direction. It is heaven's whisper clothed in longing. It is God's will for your life speaking through your heart. So many people have been taught to distrust their desires, to fear them, to suppress them, to question them endlessly. But the soul knows what it came here for. The soul remembers. And desire is the holy echo of that remembrance. It is the map you were given before the veil of forgetfulness came down. The very word desire comes from the Latin desire, of the Father. What you long for, what keeps returning to your heart, what glows in your imagination when the world is quiet, that is not random. That is sacred. It is your blueprint, your divine assignment, your spiritual permission slip. And to ignore it is to block the very path heaven is trying to clear for you. The problem is not the desire. The problem is what you've been taught to believe about it. You've been told to be reasonable. You've been told to wait. You've been told it's not time, not realistic, not for people like you. But none of those voices come from spirit. They come from fear. And fear is not your master. Truth is, and the truth is this: your desire is a prophecy. It is the beginning of the miracle, and the only thing missing is your word to bring it forth. Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart." It does not say delay them. It does not say deny them. It says give, because God is a giver, not a withholder. The desires you carry, when aligned with truth, are not accidents. They are instructions. They are glimpses of what is already yours in the invisible. But heaven will not force it upon you. It will not impose. It waits for your delight and your declaration. Desire is your compass. It points toward your appointed field, but it will not drag you there. You must walk. You must speak. You must stand up in the middle of your doubt, lift your head above the noise of fear, and say, "This is mine. This is holy. This is what I choose." And in that moment, the law begins to arrange. The invisible begins to take form. The current shifts. Not because the desire changed, but because you finally did. You stopped treating your desire as a problem and began treating it as prophecy. You stopped hiding it behind logic and started honoring it with speech. Say this now. My desire is divine. It is from God, and I walk in it without fear. You will never need to explain your desire again. Only speak it. Only align with it. Only govern it with truth. Because once spoken as law, your desire is no longer desire. It is reality in motion. Desire is holy. But left unspoken, it withers. Left doubted, it fades. Left buried beneath years of hesitation and mental rehearsal, it dies. Not because it wasn't real, not because it wasn't righteous, but because it was never declared. I have seen it too many times. A person hears the whisper of spirit within them, a business, a home, a love, a new chapter. It rises in their heart with fire and clarity. But instead of speaking it aloud, they weigh it, they analyze it, they measure it against logic, against other people's opinions, against old evidence of failure. And in that delay, the seed is never watered, the spark is never fed, and the divine invitation dissolves into the illusion of impossibility. Delay is the graveyard of desire, not because the desire was wrong, but because no one gave it voice. Law cannot operate on indecision. Spirit cannot materialize what has not been claimed. You may think you've been waiting on your dream, but in truth, your dream has been waiting on your word. Every time you say, "I'm not ready," you freeze the current. Every time you say, "Maybe someday," you turn away from the path. Every time you hesitate to speak what is truly yours, you postpone the fulfillment that was already prepared. The law of demonstration is not powered by longing, it is powered by language. Not silent yearning, but bold decree. Imagine a seed in perfect soil. All the nutrients are present. The sun is shining, the rain is coming. But the one thing missing, the command to grow. That seed remains potential, not because it lacked power, but because it lacked spoken permission. This is how most people live. Their life is full of divine potential, but none of it has been activated, because they are afraid to declare what they want, afraid to seem bold, afraid to be disappointed. But I say this to you, you are not responsible for making it happen. You are responsible for speaking it into motion. The law does the heavy lifting. Spirit arranges the details. But you must speak. You must begin the current. You must send the word forth like a spiritual architect drawing blueprints in the sky. Let me give you an image. The angels of demonstration stand beside you daily, waiting. They have their hands full of form, full of supply, full of perfect people and opportunities, but they cannot release it until your word matches the design. They will not act on confusion. They will not move on silence. They wait for the sentence, the one that says, "I now receive what I desire." It comes in divine order, and it comes now. Every moment you delay your decree, you postpone the miracle. Not because God has withheld it, but because you haven't called it by name. So speak. Speak now. Say, "My desire is ready. I speak it into form. I delay no more." The law is listening. The universe is waiting. And your good is closer than breath. All it needs is your voice. Here is the sentence. One sentence. One breath. One vibration that shifts everything. Not because it is clever, not because it is poetic, but because it is aligned with law. Say it slowly, say it aloud. Let it echo into every corner of your spirit. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. Again, I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. This sentence is not a wish. It is a decree. It does not come from the intellect. It comes from the divine self. Each word is a gate, each phrase a lever in the machinery of heaven. When you say it, you step into the role of creator, not as one who hopes, but as one who governs, not as one who tries, but as one who commands by spiritual inheritance. Let us break it down, not to analyze, but to understand the law you're activating with your tongue. I now speak. This is the present tense command. You're not reflecting. You're not planning. You are declaring in this moment. Spirit only moves on now, not when you're ready, not when it's perfect. Now, the instant you speak, the blueprint goes forth. My desire into form. You are not asking for something outside yourself. You are speaking what is already known, already present in the invisible. And you are calling it into form. Form means structure, reality, material evidence. It means the demonstration is no longer theoretical. It is tangible. It appears in divine order, not rushed, not scattered, not chaotic. You are placing your desire in the hands of perfect timing. Divine order means that every detail will unfold with ease, precision, and harmony. Nothing forced, nothing missed, only alignment. By divine law, this is not personal effort. This is not wishful thinking. This is law. The law that says what is spoken in alignment must be fulfilled. You are invoking the machinery of spirit itself. The invisible substance is now commanded to take visible shape, not by your strength, but by the unfailing operation of divine law. Without delay. This is where fear is cast out. You are not waiting endlessly. You are not wondering. You are establishing rhythm. Without delay means you are ready, you are receptive, and the law has full permission to move quickly. Quickly, not because of force, but because of clarity. Now, do not just say this sentence once. Say it 3 times in the morning. Say it 3 times before sleep. Say it once every time you feel resistance, hesitation, or doubt. Let it become the default signal you send into the field. This is your new atmosphere. This is your vibrational location. Remember the scripture. Mark 11:24. What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. This is not a metaphor, it is law. Belief is not a feeling, it is a rhythm. And this sentence carries that rhythm. Speak it now. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. Speak it again. Let heaven record it. Let the angels act on it. Let law obey it. Because now the demonstration begins. Not someday, but now. Do not let the simplicity of this sentence deceive you. It is not a mere affirmation. It is a spiritual hammer, a divine decree, a rhythm that reorders your entire reality. And like any sacred tool, it must be used daily, faithfully, rhythmically, until the unseen responds with evidence. This sentence is not for occasional use. It is for daily dominion. It is to become your new spiritual habit, your internal compass, your spoken invitation to divine demonstration. Here is how to use it with power. First, speak it in the morning before you do anything else. Before your feet hit the floor, before your mind remembers what day it is, let your first word not be worry, but law. Say it aloud, sitting up in bed or standing with your hand on your chest. Declare, I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order by divine law without delay. Let it program your day. Let it enter your cells. Let your nervous system know, today we govern reality. Second, speak it in the midday hours, especially when the momentum begins to wane, when doubt whispers, when distractions rise, when the mind wants to wander back to fear. Pause. Go somewhere private, or say it under your breath. Say it until you feel your posture return, until your focus sharpens, until your desire feels real again. Third, speak it before you sleep. Let it be the final vibration you place into your subconscious before it begins its holy night work. The subconscious is your silent servant. It obeys the last command it receives before rest, so give it the right instruction. Not confusion, not anxiety, but the sentence, I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order by divine law without delay. Fourth, speak it in moments of action. Before sending the email, before making the phone call, before walking into the meeting, before posting the video. Let every step be preceded by decree. You are not reacting to life anymore. You are commanding it. You are not hoping for the best. You are speaking the best into form. And here is your final instruction. Do not change the sentence. Do not water it down. Do not bend it to fit fear. Speak it exactly as it is, pure, powerful, precision-tuned to the laws of the invisible. Every word matters. Every syllable is a lever. Do not touch the formula, only activate it. Remember, the sentence is not powered by your mood. It is powered by your faithfulness. Say it when you feel strong. Say it when you feel doubtful. Say it when nothing is happening. Say it until something does, because something always does. Write it on a card. Put it on your mirror. Keep it in your phone. Let it live in your mouth until it lives in your world. Let it become so familiar that the moment you feel off-center, your spirit begins to repeat it before your mind even remembers. You are not doing this to prove something. You are doing it because the law moves when your word aligns. And when you use this sentence daily, you are no longer a wanderer. You are a governor. No longer a beggar. You are a speaker of divine law. Say it now with full authority. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order by divine law without delay. This is how you walk. This is how you win. This is how you turn desire into reality. Not once, but again and again. When you speak this sentence, heaven listens. Law moves. The invisible begins to organize, not with hesitation, not with struggle, but with a precision that defies logic and defies time. What takes years by human effort can take hours when governed by spiritual command. And yet most people sabotage the demonstration by looking too soon, by doubting too quickly, by measuring the invisible with visible eyes. But I tell you now, when you speak the sentence in truth, movement begins immediately. Whether you see it or not, the wheels turn. The current flows. The answer begins. In the first 24 hours, you may notice a shift in your body, a lightness, a sudden peace, a knowing that cannot be explained. You may receive a phone call, a confirmation, a strange alignment that proves spirit is working. You may sense a new confidence, a divine calm, a pull toward an action you've been avoiding. These are not small things. They are evidence. Do not dismiss them. Do not say, it's just coincidence. No, it's law. In the second day, you may notice people responding differently to you, opportunities circling closer, ideas becoming clearer. You may find yourself suddenly bold, no longer asking for permission, no longer explaining your desire to people who never carried your vision. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are finally walking with the vibration of someone who knows their word is law. By the third day, your reality may begin to shift. The email arrives, the door opens, the burden lifts. You feel the clarity of, this is mine, not in theory, but but in tangible movement. And even if the form is not complete, the evidence is undeniable. The fog lifts, the delay breaks, the demonstration breathes its first breath in the seen world. And if you see nothing yet, do not retreat. Do not unravel the word with your fear. Do not say, "It didn't work," because the law does not delay. It unfolds in divine order. And divine order is never late, never random, never out of sync. The only question is whether you will remain faithful to your sentence long enough for the reality to match it. Remember this scripture from Habakkuk 2:3. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That is not contradiction, it is truth. If it appears to delay, it is not delay, it is unseen precision. The form is aligning, the details are obeying your decree, and it will come, surely, unfailingly, in divine order by divine law, without delay. Say now in rhythm, "I am not late, my desire is not denied, my word is already at work." If you stay steady, if you keep the sentence alive with faith, if you resist the temptation to speak doubt in between declarations, your reality will turn, not slowly, not partially, but completely, because your word, when spoken in law, cannot return void. And so it is. The mind is not sovereign. It is programmable. It is malleable. It will believe whatever you speak to it often enough with emotion and rhythm. The mind does not care if the thought is empowering or destructive. It only obeys repetition. And most people do not realize they have trained their mind to doubt, to fear, to expect delay, to plan for disappointment. They do not know that every time they say, "It's not working," or "I don't know how," they are engraving that belief deeper into the walls of their own consciousness. But today, you break that cycle. Today, you reprogram the inner chamber of your mind with one powerful sentence that no fear can survive. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. This sentence is more than a prayer. It is a rhythm, a script, a holy code that, when repeated often enough, becomes your new subconscious belief, not through effort, through rhythm, through saturation, through spoken law. When the mind begins to waver, repeat the sentence. When fear arises, repeat the sentence. When appearances contradict your vision, repeat the sentence. When nothing seems to be moving, repeat the sentence. Do not argue with the mind. Do not try to suppress fear. Simply replace it with truth. The mind cannot hold two opposing ideas in the same space for long. When the truth is stronger, it casts out the lie. When your rhythm is louder than the fear dissolves. And once the mind is reprogrammed, the demonstration becomes inevitable. Let me give you a practice. Every hour, on the hour, stop and speak the sentence 3 times. Feel it. Embody it. Don't rush it. Let each word strike the ground of your old beliefs like a bell. Say it until it no longer feels like a sentence you are speaking, but a reality you are remembering. Say it until your nervous system adjusts to the vibration of certainty. Say it until your doubt becomes foreign and your word feels like home. Reprogramming is not about force. It is about rhythm. Just as a song can change your mood in seconds, this sentence can change your internal programming over hours, days, weeks. But only if you speak it as law, as identity, as non-negotiable spiritual truth. Let your mind hear this now. This is who I am. I am one who speaks and receives. I am one who governs through the word. I am one who calls desire into form and sees it appear. The repetition is not childish, it is divine. Jesus said in Matthew 6:7, "Do not use vain repetitions." Vain means empty, but this is not empty. This is alive. This is encoded with truth. This is a repetition that fills, not one that drains. And every time you say it, you are not just hoping, you are installing new law into the fabric of your being. Your subconscious now knows what to do. it has its new assignment. Your job is simple. Speak the sentence, and do not stop until the world responds. Now I give you a command, not as pressure, but as power, not as a burden, but as a bridge. For too long, you have waited for a sign to speak. Now you must speak to create the sign. For too long, you have waited for proof before you would declare. But the law of spirit is this: your declaration is the proof. The spoken word is the evidence that you trust divine order, even when appearances still lie. So here is your challenge. For the next 3 days, yes, 3, you will speak the sentence 12 times each day, not 5, not 7, 12, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening, 3 before sleep, and not mechanically, not softly. You will speak it with rhythm, with heart, with breath, with belief. The sentence again is, I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. Each time you speak it, you are not repeating like a student. You are commanding like a sovereign soul. You are instructing reality. You are issuing orders to the invisible. You are saying to your desire, you are not a fantasy. You are a form, and you come forth now. This is not stubbornness. It is spiritual maturity. It is time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It is time to stop excusing your delay with spiritual-sounding language. I'm waiting on God, people say. But God has been waiting on you, on your voice, on your clarity, on your decree. I challenge you to walk through your day as a spiritual general. Before every task, whisper the sentence under your breath. Before every challenge, speak it with renewed fire. Before every step forward, let the ground hear the sound of your word. The atmosphere will shift. The people around you will feel it. The invisible will take shape around you because your vibration will no longer say, maybe. It will say, now. And when the old thoughts return, and they will, when the whispers of delay or fear or unworthiness try to rise, you do not entertain them. You do not analyze them. You override them. You replace them. You speak the sentence louder. You return to the rhythm. You step back into your authority. Say this aloud now, wherever you are. I accept this challenge. I speak with fire. I speak with faith. I speak until the form appears. This is how you change timelines. This is how you interrupt patterns. This is how you bring desire out of hiding and into visibility. Not with force, not with noise, but with repetition rooted in law. 3 days, 12 times a day. That is your sacred assignment, and I promise you this. By the end of it, you will not only see signs of movement, you will have become someone who cannot be denied. Why? Because the universe does not argue with aligned command. It only delivers what has already been spoken, and now you have spoken it. Now we anchor it all, not with emotion, but with rhythm, not with noise, but with declaration. This is not a time for casual thoughts or quiet hope. This is the hour to stamp your vibration into the field with words so aligned, so law-rooted, so spiritually undeniable that reality must conform. These affirmations are not encouragement, they are activation. Say them aloud, not in a whisper, not in doubt, but with the voice of someone who knows that every word forms a mold reality must fill. Say, my desire is divine. My word is law. What I speak appears. I am not waiting. I am receiving. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order by divine law without delay. Again, desire is not outside me. It is the voice of spirit within me. I do not chase. I do not beg. I decree. The moment I speak, the invisible begins to shape. My sentence is a spiritual blueprint. Spirit builds instantly. I walk in truth. I speak in rhythm. I receive in law. Now say it again. The sentence that shifts timelines. The the sentence that tears the veil between longing and fulfillment. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. Say it again. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. And once more, with breath and fire, I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. This is your new foundation. This is your new frequency. Let these words circulate in your bloodstream. Let them rise through your spine. Let them echo through your home. Let them replace every sentence of fear you ever learned. You are no longer one who wishes. You are no longer one who waits. You are one who speaks and watches it appear. You have spoken. You have remembered. You have turned the lights back on in the sacred chamber of your authority. And now you must continue. Not out of pressure, but out of rhythm. Not out of fear, but out of faith. The sentence has been given. The path is clear, and the current is flowing. Do not return to silence. Do not return to spiritual amnesia. Keep speaking. Keep commanding. Keep creating. If these words stirred you, if the sentence called something in you back to life, then I ask only this: declare it publicly. Not for performance, not for validation, but as a mark of spiritual agreement. Type it now, right here. I now speak my desire into form. It appears in divine order, by divine law, without delay. Write it as your vow, your signature, your spiritual contract with law. Let it live in the comments not as noise, but as sacred record, a testament that you did not just listen, but you spoke. And if this voice, this rhythm, this truth has anchored you, stay close. Subscribe not to consume, but to remain aligned. Return daily. Let this channel be your temple of remembrance. Let every video return you to your throne. Because you are not just a listener. You are not a seeker anymore. You are a speaker, a sovereign, a spiritual architect who now understands desire is not something to chase, it is something to command. Speak it, repeat it, live it, and watch what appears. It is already done, and so it is.